Hello and welcome to my channel. This is the second in a series of videos on how to do the stitches to bind your books. So in the first video I showed you how to do the most straightforward one, the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, but now I'm looking at what we call the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So you will need 5 holes in your spine and the corresponding 5 holes in your signature. Now you can see that in this signature I have used various different papers. They are not all the same sizes, and this for me is why I use a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. This is the sort of signature that I would use for what I would loosely call junk journaling. It's not all junk. True junk journaling literally just uses junk, so old book pages, magazines, junk mail, all those kinds of things. For me it's probably more of a hybrid thing, but I do like this whole feeling of the signatures not being the same. I've used up some magazine, or and I mean old. I've got some old copies of The Artist from the 50s, and pattern papers from my stash, and the reason why a 5-hole pamphlet stitch is good when you're doing signatures like this, particularly for this style of journaling and junk journaling, is that you can see that here this piece of paper, even though it's much smaller, is going to be caught in by 3 stitches, and I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get these apart. Everything is caught in by at least 2 stitches. If this was just a 3-hole pamphlet, this would only be caught in by this one hole here, and it means it's not as stable in there as it could be. So this is why we do, or I do, 5-hole pamphlet stitch. So I've used, and I'm always very generous. So when I'm measuring my length against my signature, I'm always either side. So 1, 2, 3 and a bit, roughly 3 times the length of your signature. Okay, now I've fiddled around with mine, so I am just going to use my needle to make sure I've got my, there we go. So I've gone through the middle just to make sure I've got my holes lined up. Okay, so I am using free wax thread. Now which is great because it's already waxed and it's fine. The only thing I'd say is I know a lot of mine that I bought pre-waxed is sometimes too waxed, and when you're using a smaller needle eye like this one, you can get caught with the excess wax. So I have a needle threaded to help me to pull it through. Oh, she says I got that at the right angle. Bear with me, my hands are also playing up. Oh, come on. Yeah, that's through. Now, if I show you, you might be able to see this excess white stuff. That's the excess wax. You don't need that wax. You know, this is why you can see it's a little bit too waxed. So if this is what all you have, great. This is all I had for a long time, which is why I'm using it. But if you have embroidery floss, if you have and you can get little blocks of beeswax, you can then wax your own thread so it won't be as waxed. Okay, so here is my cover. I'm not showing you how to do the cover or how to make the signatures. This is purely stitching. If you want to know how to make the cover, then I do have a video showing you how to do this with some templates, which I will link. Well, I may or may not link, but we're going to it's made using the A6 template from Joni's Originals. Okay, anyway, I just want to point out that there are some random holes that I'm not using, and that's because this cover is gone through a bit of a metamorphosis of what I wanted to use it for, but it's not going to harm it in any way. So 5-hole pamphlet, going through the middle of my signature. Now I'm using a variegated thread here. I quite like variegated thread. Sometimes when you're doing lots of stitching, I'm going to use a little bit of low tape just to hold that in, and then I'm going to go out through that middle hole. Okay. Now, if you've seen the 3-hole pamphlet, there are some similarities with the 5-hole pamphlet. The 5-hole pamphlet, in that we'll end up back in the middle, things on each side, and tying it off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in through this hole here, and hoping that all my holes in my signature are all lined up. Bear with me. There we go. So I've from the middle, I've come out. I'm going into what I could go that way, but I'm choosing to go this way. It makes no odds. The principle is still the same. So I am going in through that one. Okay. So I'm now back on the middle here. Okay. So I'm now going to go out through this one, and you can see there's quite a few of my pieces that are not caught in this one. Again, this is why 5-hole pamphlet is good, because these inner ones will catch those that are too small. Okay, so I've done gone out through the middle, come back in here, out through here, and now I'm coming back in through here, and we're just going to try to make sure we don't split the thread. It's not the end of the world if we do, and I think I have, but we're going to keep going. Right, you can see there, you can see that I have split the thread, and I am going, what I'm going to do is we can rectify this. I've pulled it through, and I'm going to just try to ease that out. There we go. So I'm just pulling that back through. And the reason you want to try to avoid splitting the thread is because it becomes very difficult to pull through and to then get your tension on your stitches right. Okay, so it's worth just checking, and if you have taken the time to see, can I rectify that or not? So we've gone out through the middle, in through here, out through here, back here, and we're going to do a jump. Now we're going to jump across to this one. Now I am going to be sewing in 5 signatures, so you'll see me do this 5 times. So if you're not quite sure where we're at, you'll be able to see this 5 times. Okay, so we're going across there, and then now you see I've got a little bit of I could see that this wasn't very tight. Not the end of the world, but with a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, you do need to try to keep a reasonable grip on your tension. It's not quite as forgiving as a 3-hole pamphlet. Okay, so I am now going in this top one, like here. So, and then I'm going back out this one. Yeah. Okay, so we're pulling this way. Always pull in the direction that you're sewing, okay? Because it makes a difference. And then we're going back in through this one. And again, like if you've seen the 3-hole pamphlet, this is where we try not to split the stitch. Okay, so we're through. Okay. And I don't want both my tails on the same side, so I'm going to just pull that through. I am going to just double check on the outside if my stitching is okay. As I said, this time it's not as forgiving because you've got that those extra little loops with it being a 5-hole pamphlet. But yeah, if you're checking as you go, you'll be fine. So we're going to pull, and we're pulling along that piece there. And then, oops, I'm just going to untie. Now, I probably gave myself far too much thread, but that's also okay. Okay, I will be able to put this one use maybe in a dangle sort of the decorations that we do along the spines. But that's your first 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Okay, and I am now going to use, it's not going to hold everything in, we'll hold most of it. I'm just going to hold that signature in with a clip. It's not a proper bookbinding clip, it's just happens to be one that I have. So we're going to thread our needle again. Oh, are opening that too much? Oh, dearie me. And through there. And pull that back through. There we go. Okay. So get my next signature. Now, I am not sure whether I've even got this up the right way. And that is another thing. See, no. See, I've sewn that signature in upside down. Is what it is. I can go back, and because it's a single one on its own, I can go back and redo that. I am not going to bother because at the moment the stitching is what we need to do. But this one, I am going to make sure that I have up the right way. I think that needs to go that way. I'll go like that. And I am going to then just get my needle and make sure I've now got, because I've moved my signature and my but my signature, everything in my signature is not the same size. I'm just putting my needle through to make sure I've got everything now in the right place. And you can see this one's going to be cap caught here. Okay, so through the middle. Okay, and I'm going to leave myself a reasonable piece here. I don't think I found that last one a bit tricky. I hadn't left enough for me to pull, but that's because my hands are a little bit don't work particularly well. So, oh, okay, so I've got I've gone through my signature. I didn't go out through my spine. So out through the middle hole of your spine. There we go. And then we're going to come back in this one. I mean, I don't think I said at the beginning, but hopefully it's fairly obvious that you do need 5 holes in your spine. Bear with me, my signature's moved again. 5 holes in your spine, you know, reasonably well spaced, evenly spaced if you can, but sometimes it's not easy to evenly space them depending on the measurements. Okay, so we've gone out the middle, we've come back in this one, we're going out this one. And you saw how easy that was because everything there is now lined up nicely. So just going to pull it a little bit that way just to make sure we've got this and this nice and taut. Okay, that way. Not pulling it too tight because obviously this isn't yet fixed. Okay, then we're going to go back in through this one, and we're going to try not to split anything. So I'm just going to have a little bit of a look. You see where I am? There we go. Come back in through there, and I haven't split anything. Just going to give that a little bit of a pull. I've come through a little bit below. I've not seemed to have come through the actual hole. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. If you're not that happy, you can go back. But you know, it's not going to make a great deal of difference to what I'm doing. So through there and out. So we skip this one in the middle and out. Okay, and then now I can see this one. That one was a bit loose, so I've just pulled the inside one. So we're going back in this one. That one went in nice and easy. Okay, nice little tug. And then we're going out through this one. It's much easier not to split when you're coming through from the inside than it is the other way. Oh, that obviously got caught on something. And then back in through this one. And nicely through, nothing split. And also, this tape, lovely and low tack, just doesn't, it's because I've used it multiple times. I've come through on the other side. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a tug, like so. I'm going to check on the outside that my stitches are nice and taut. Just pull that off. And I'm going to tie my knot. And you can see you're getting, because I'm using the variegated thread, you're getting some nice colour variation here. You're also getting some nice colour variation here. Okay, so that's the second one. We've got 5 to go, so hopefully this will, you know, by the time we've done the 5, you'll have a little bit more understanding of how this 5-hole pamphlet works. Okay. All right, so if I try, it will work. Yes, look at that. Managed to get that. But look at all that wax that isn't needed, really. Okay. So let's find the middle of this one. Sorry, that was off camera. So I've got the middle of my signature. I'm making sure have I got my writing up the right way this time. I have. Okay. And out through that hole, that middle hole. A bit of tape. And where's the needle? We're coming back in through this hole here. Oh. Got that in the right place. Right, spare with me a moment. I seem to have 2 holes for some reason on that one. And I'm not sure. Oh, it's made a nice big hole, not to worry. But I need to find the hole on the next bit in. It's there. So I need to, oh, there we go. Oh, now there's me fiddling around and I've managed to go. Can you see what I've done? I've gone from the inside to the outside. So I'm just going to unthread my needle. That's because I was busy fussing about where the hole was in my signature. So I'm going to take that out and we're going to start that again. Well, I say start that again. We've got so far as going through there. As you can see, you know, it is straightforward, but these little things do happen. And as long as you're like, right, okay, that's happened, this is what I do, sort it out and then go back to it. The more you do it, and the more you do it not on camera, the easier it is. There we go. And if you were doing a 5-hole with where signatures were all the same, it wouldn't be as tricky. But the point is, this is why I use 5-hole pamphlet, because I want to be able to use different size signatures. Okay, so we're looking now, and I've got my needle coming in from the right side this time, and we're just trying to find this hole again. I think it's a bit further up. It's there. Yeah, come on through. Come on, signature. There we go. There we go. So there we go. So I've got that first one through, and then I'm going out here. Going out through that one. Okay. And there, let's just untouch that, and then just give that a little pull. That one, then it's a bit tighter. So we're going back in through there nicely. A little tug, not too much, and then we're jumping to this one. And you can see I'm moving it about because of how my hands work, because of what is comfortable for me. It is absolutely fine to move things around in order to make it more comfortable. Now you can see this one's a bit loose, but I know that that one is kind of, I can tighten that with that, so I'm not too worried about that one. So we come out here, okay, we're going in here. Okay, so in here, in through my signature. And then back out this one. What have I got caught on the corner of the book? Like so. And then back in through this one. Okay. With the aim of not splitting the thread. Okay. So we come through on the other side, which is also good. I'm going to unstick that. I'm going to unthread the needle. I'm going to give this a nice pull. Like so. I'm going to check that my stitches on the outside are nice and taut, and then tie my knot, and then cut my ends like so. Okay, so that's 3. Let's do another one. See if we can do one without having lots of faffing this time. Okay, so just secured my other ones there. Pick up my my next signature. Thread my needle. Okay, again, just make sure I'm writing. This writing isn't up, but the butterfly is the right way, so that's that way. Okay, that's my center. Now you can see at some point I was going to use this for something else, but that's okay. It's not going to harm the paper here to have a few extra holes. So we've gone out through the middle, and we're going in that hole there, which isn't. I'm looking at the screen. That's it. That one's gone in there. Okay, and just get my piece of tape, take that down. So out through the middle. And now turn it up that way. We're coming back in through here. Remember, you can go this way as well, as long as, you know, you're going to the next hole, one of the next holes from the middle. Okay, and then we're going through signature. There we go. Come up in the middle. Okay. And then I'm going out this next hole. Okay. Up to here. Now you can see this stitch at the moment is a bit loose. I'm just going to give this a little pull. I don't want to be pulling it loads because there we go. That's another reason to check on the inside, because that got caught. So let's give that another pull. Another problem. You see I've come out the wrong hole. So I'm going to go back. Let's just pull. We can pull this out a little bit. I'm going back through that hole because that's the wrong hole. Okay, and then come out the correct hole. There we go. Oh, hello. No, that's not come out through. Bear with me, sorry. So that I can see what I'm doing. We've come out through the right hole now. There you go. And I'm going to just give it a little pull. Just check again on the inside. That, yeah, and don't pull so that this one moves either. Right, so come out there. Now, I do apologise. I do turn it round. I think when we went through the other way, I was that way. But I turn it for what's easiest for me. And you need to do that yourself. Just use, as long as you come out the middle, go into one next to it, and then back out there. You could go that way, but it doesn't matter which way you go. And like I say, turn it so that it's good for you. So I can feel that one's just gone straight back through into the right place. So we've gone back through there, come out on the inside, and then I'm going to jump from the middle to this one. Let's make sure, and I've turned it around again. You might have noticed that. I'm going to make sure that we come out through the right hole, which is that one. Okay. Again, I've turned it round. Now this one is loose. I'm not going to worry too much. This one can be tightened from the inside, and we'll be able to tighten it later anyway. So I've come back out there, and I'm going in to the end one. Find the signature. There we go. And then I'm coming back out of that one. The more signatures you get in, the more your signatures tend to stay in place, so that when you do like I've just done, you know, you can feel that you're already in the right place because there's not as much wiggle room. And then I'm coming back in through this one. Again, I felt that go straight through in the right place and out. Okay. Now I am going to give this a pull, but I did notice that the tension on a couple of the stitches on the outside didn't look quite right. So we're going to give it a pull and just see if that's all that it needed. Yes, that's all that it needed, just to pull those along. Okay, so I'm on either side of that middle. I'm going to tie the knot, and then I'm going to snip there and there. Okay, so we've got one more signature to do. Hopefully you're now getting the idea. And my last piece of thread, I'm just going to clear the eye. My last piece of thread, and through. Okay, and then we will just make sure I've got anything up the right way. That looks right. So I found the middle. like before. I'm going out through the middle, and then the last hole I've got there in the middle, we're going out through the middle, my bit of tape. So we're coming back in through this one, turn it up that way, and then find my hole which is there, and then just find my holes in my signature and come back in through there. Okay, there, and then I'm going out through that one, which hopefully, there we go, it's lined up with that one. So here we go, come out there, and I'm just giving that a little pull. I'm just going to check, because last time we had it a bit caught, just giving that little pull. I'm not going to keep pulling it, because all that's going to do is keep pulling this one, which is going to leave me less and less to tie off. So this one's not too much of an issue if your tension isn't quite right. So then we're going back in through here, back in through here, like so, and I have gone through the thread there, but I think we're going to be all right. I'm looking at it, I think I'm going to be able to get the tension okay on that, so I'm not going to worry too much. I could go back and take it out, but I don't think this time it's going to cause too much of an issue. You'll get used to it. You'll do it and you'll go, oh no, I won't bother, and then realize you needed to. And other times you'll go, actually no, that will be all right. You'll get used to feeling that out. So we came back in through the middle, jumped across, and we're now on this side here, and we're going to go in through this side, and I'm going to turn the book back up that way. I'm going to find my hole in my signature, like so, come back in, like so. So if we were still going the same way, we're here, we go back out this one, and like I say, should be able to feel it nicely. Yeah, straight out through there. Thing. Then back in this one, you can see this is quite loose, but we've got this end that we can pull in a moment, so it's not going to be an issue. Back in, and I find it. Now this is because this is the last one, might be a little bit tight in finding that hole. Oh no, there we go. That's gone through. It's come through on the same side of that, so I'm just going to push my needle underneath, get it on the other side. I'm going to release this piece of tape, take the needle off, and I'm going to give them a good pull, like so. I'm going to check. Now I've got some loose tension. Now that one will be where we split the thread. So that one, I've now pulled that, hopefully that's gone in. So that's all that. We'll pull that from the outside. That will tighten that one up. Pull that one. You see, I've split the thread there as well. Now that could be an issue. Can we get away with it? Let's see. You see what I mean? You can see now what happens when you do split the thread. That's coming through that one. And I'm actually not sure if I'm going to get that tightened, because I've split the thread in two places. I didn't realize I'd split the thread there. So what are we going to do? Let's take this one out. Okay, and let's come back up through here. There we go. Right, so we've taken it back to that point. Okay. So I and get away with splitting the thread there, but if I split it again here, then I haven't got the room to pull it either way. So that's okay. We've sorted that one out. You could see what happened because I hadn't just going to cut the end of that. Because I hadn't because I'd split it in two places, it just wasn't going to give me the right tension. But as you can see again, I was able to just unpick a little bit. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go back through this one and try not to split the thread this time as we're coming through. Have I split the thread again? There. So come through. I haven't split the thread this time, so I can pull that a bit tighter. I'm going to go back in through the middle. Let's hope we don't split this one. Okay, and we're going to come back through there. Right, now I pull. Now all my stitches on the outside look fine. So this splitting the thread here was fine, but because I then split it up there, yeah, that wasn't fine. In two places, it just wasn't going to let me do what I needed to do. Okay, so I'm going to tie that off. Put that off there and there. Okay, so I now have my journal, which has, and this is the sort of journal I would art journal in, because I just love the different, you know, bits. And here you've got this bit that will fold out, this bit that folds out there. So if you're interested in making this kind of, you know, journal, then, you know, oh, back goes there. Imaginative composition. Then a 5-hole pamphlet stitch is really what you need. Now I've got this little diagram just to try to illustrate. So if I just put the crosses as being the holes, like so, and this is the inside and this is the outside. So you start by going out through the middle from the inside to the outside, and then you come back in the next one, and then you go out this one, you come in here, miss the middle one on the inside and go out there, round, and this one, back up here and back into the middle. So you end up back in here, and then you have your two pieces to tie. Okay, so out through the middle, it's from the inside to the outside, in there, in the next hole to the middle, from the middle to the outside on an end hole, back in the next door one to the middle, skip the middle hole on the inside here, go out, back in, back out, and back in. Hopefully that makes sense. But please, if you're still not sure, put any comment, you know, in the comment section, and I will see if I can help. But yeah, that's a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I've used variegated thread because I think it looks really nice, particularly this color thread with this cover. And this kind of signature is why I use a 5-hole signature, 5-hole pamphlet stitch. Okay, thanks for joining me. So that was second in my sequence of doing some stitching demos. Thank you for joining me, and join me again for the next one.